EQing is a skill that requires practice and training of your ears. Boosting or reducing the right frequencies could make or break a mix. Becoming familiar with key frequency ranges are essential to become adept with EQing. That's why today we're going to be doing something different. I'll be providing you an EQ listening test. The test will be done in multiple choice, so grab a pen and pad if you want to keep count of how many you get right. By the way, my name is Stranger, and if you want to improve your music production and sound design, especially with dance music and drum and bass, then this channel is for you. If you want to see more videos like these, hit the like button so I know to make more of them. We're going to start with a walkthrough of some of the key frequency ranges. If you're familiar with them already, then use the chapter guide below and skip right towards the test. And comment down below and let me know how many did you get correct. And if you haven't already, add me on Instagram and TikTok where I'm providing additional exclusive content. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it. Before we get started, I recommend you guys to watch this video with some headphones or monitors so you can hear the minute nuances with the frequency ranges. Alright, before we get to the EQ test, I'm going to walk you through some known frequency ranges that most producers are accustomed to working with. Alright, let's talk about the sub-bass first, which typically ranges from 20 to 60 hertz. Now, these are known as the sub-bass frequencies because it's more of something that you feel than you hear. So when you hear that speaker rumble, those are the sub-bass frequencies. Now, you're not going to notice a difference at the lower end of the spectrum, but observe as I increase the frequency what happens to the sub-bass of the track. So 60 hertz appears to be the sweet spot for this sub-bass. Next up, we got the bass, which ranges from the 60 to 250 hertz area. And these frequencies typically make something sound more boomy. So listen to what happens to the kick drums of the Amen as we increase the frequency range. Sometimes the fundamental frequency or the pop of that snare is found in this range as well. Alright, the low mids range from 250 to 500 hertz, and I typically refer to these as the box frequencies because as you increase it, it makes it sound like you're in a box. Notice how that frequency is resonating, almost making it sound like it's hollow. So those are the low mids or box frequencies. All right, next up we got the mids, which typically ranges from 500 to 2000 hertz. Now I typically look at this range in two different parts. So around 500 to 1200 hertz is one part where it sounds a little more poppy or hollow. And then from 1200 to around 2000 or even 2400 hertz, it sounds a little more snappy. So we're going to start with the first part around 500 to 1200 hertz. Notice how the snare pops out more around the 700 to 1200 hertz area. And then let's look at the second part from 1200 to 2000. I like to go up to 2400, but a lot of charts refer to 2000 as a crossover point. Notice how the snare snaps in this area a little more. All right, next up, we got the upper mids, which typically ranges from 2000 to 4000 hertz. And again, this adds additional snap to your drums. And also, this typically brings out the presence of a vocal. This frequency range tends to sound piercing, so you have to be careful about how much you raise. All right, on to the next range. 4,000 to around 6,000 hertz is typically referred to as presence. I like to go up to as high as 7 or 8,000 in this area. So to me, it's around 4 to 8K. And this is where the highs start to sound more crispy. Notice how those rides really start to come out in this area. All right, the final area is known as brilliance and seems to range from 6,000 to 20,000 hertz. Now, again, I look at it a little bit differently. I refer to this range around 8 to 20K. So this area to me adds air to a mix. So I'll start around 7,500 and we'll go up. Now I notice that once you go past 12,000 hertz, you start to not hear the difference because those frequencies start to be inaudible, or usually there's a lack of material in those higher ranges. Notice the added air in the high frequencies around that 11K area. All right, let's have a little review. Starting from the bottom, we got the sub bass, the bass, the low mids, the mid range, upper mids, presence, and brilliance. All right, now that I've walked you through the main ranges of an EQ, let's do a test. By the way, if you want to support me, you can grab my gnarly serum preset pack, which contains over 150 face melting presets. Also, I got some Ableton templates to help jumpstart your next idea. But if you're not ready yet, then you can grab my free serum pack as well as my free sample pack. Listen to the before and after. What frequency is being attenuated? Is it A, 10 hertz, B, 100, C, 1000, or D, 10,000? Pause the video if you need some time to think about it. The answer is C, 1000 hertz. All right, exercise 2. Listen carefully. Is it A, 50 hertz, B, 500, C, 5,000, or D, 15,000 hertz? The answer is C, 5,000 hertz. Next question. We're going to keep it easy and gradually increase the difficulty. Is it A, 20 hertz, B, 200, C, 2,000, or D, 20,000? The answer is B, 200 hertz. All right, we're going to increase the difficulty. Listen carefully. Is it A, 400 hertz, B, 700, C, 1200, or D, 2400? If you answered D, 2400, then you are correct. Next question. Is it A, 300 hertz, B, 700, C, 900, or D, 1200 hertz? The answer is B, 700 hertz. Next question. Hopefully you guys are getting this. Is it A, 5,000 hertz, B, 7,000, C, 9,000, or D, 11,000? The answer is B, 7,000 hertz. All right, next question. Is it A, 120 hertz, B, 1200, C, 2400, or D, 5000 hertz? The answer is B, 1200 hertz. We're past the halfway mark. Let's keep going. Is it A, 3500 hertz, B, 5000, C, 6500, or D, 10,000 hertz? The answer is D, 10,000 hertz. All right, we're going to change up the sound, but same test. Let's go. Is it A, 200 hertz, B, 700, C, 1500, or D, 3000 hertz? The answer is C, 1500 hertz. All right, we're almost there. Let's keep this up. Is it A, 1200 hertz, B, 2400, C, 5000, or D, 10,000 hertz? The answer is C, 5000 hertz. I'm expecting to come after you for mixes after this test. Is it A, 200 hertz, B, 400, C, 800, or D, 1200 hertz? The answer is C, 800 hertz. We're almost there. Let's keep this up. Is it A, 1125 hertz, B, 2250, or C, 4500, or D, 9000 hertz? The answer is D, 9000 hertz. All right, you must be a pro star by now. Next question. Is it A, 80 hertz, B, 160, C, 320, or D, 640 hertz? The answer is A, 80 hertz. All right, we're approaching the finishing line. Next question. Is it A, 800 hertz, B, 1200, C, 2400, or D, 4800 hertz? The answer is C, 2400 hertz. All right, finishing line. Last question. Is it A, 50 hertz, B, 250 hertz, C, 800 hertz, or D, 1200 hertz? The answer is B, 250 hertz. All right, tally up your scores. If you have 0 to 2, then you should probably try again. If you scored 3 to 5, then the potential is there. 6 to 9, then you got a knack for this. 10 to 14, you're a pro star. And if you got all 15 correct, then you, my friend, are a mixing god. Hope you guys enjoyed this. All right, that was the test. So comment down below and let me know how many did you guys get correct. Hopefully by the end of this video, you've become more familiar with key frequency ranges, which will then help you become better at EQing. And feel free to come back and try doing the test again to help train your ear. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep practicing, and I'll see you at the next video.